All right. So Saturday night, we go to the NFC, and I know you and I are both excited about this one. 49ers at Packers. We were all over the 49ers last week. Big win for both of us. Packers are big favorites here, the biggest favorite of the weekend, 5.5 right now, though it was up to 6 and now slipping a little bit back down, 46.5 for the total. I know earlier in this week when we talked about this one, we had to wait on the injuries. There's a lot of big injury news here. So what have you been hearing about injuries for either side in this one?
It appears that Jimmy Garoppolo, he is banged up, but he is going to play. Fred Warner has practiced, and I'm not quite sure about what's going on with Nick Bosa, but to me, it appears that he's going to play. Look, if this was a regular season game, they'd probably keep this guy out. But we're seeing right now, teams are just going all in. If guys are capable of playing, they're playing. We're seeing it with the COVID stuff. There hasn't been a player announced out for COVID the entire postseason, and I expect that to continue. Look, the big thing in this matchup is the Packers defense. Look, they can't stop the run. We've seen it time and time again with this matchup. Packers are 30th in rushing EPA per play, 30th in rushing success rate. And, last time these two teams played, they didn't have Raheem Mostert, and Elijah Mitchell wasn't really acclimated to this system, and Deebo Samuel wasn't getting the backfield carries that he's getting now. And the Packers are going to have to deal with that. And I just think that's going to be really, really tough. Look, the Packers are also 28th in explosive run play rate. So when they face a top tier rushing offense, they're going to struggle. Like when you look at that Browns game, and I think that's a good comp for this game, the Browns rushed for 219 yards on 25 carries. And unlike Kevin Stefanski, Shanahan's not going to be afraid to run the ball. And I think he's going to continue to run the ball down their throat. That's going to open up lanes for George Kittle. Another good comp for this game is the Packers can't really defend the middle of the field. We saw in that Baltimore game, they basically threw to Mark Andrews over and over and over again. So I really like George Kittle in this matchup. I think Mark Andrews caught 10 passes for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns. So I think this line is way off. The last time these two teams played, the 49ers were actually laying 3.5 at home. This line is all the way at Packers -6. And I know I speak about this a lot. The Packers have one of the best home field advantages in football. I know they're getting some guys back in Jair Alexander, but I like the 49ers in this matchup. And I think they have a good chance of winning this game outright as long as Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't turn the ball over.
That's always the caveat with the 49ers. But, man, you're reading straight off of my notes. We are fully in line on this one. The Packers run defense, terrible all year. Packers defense overall has gotten worse late in the season. The Niners are the exact wrong matchup for the Packers. And, we've talked about the Niners. I talked about Niners futures for a couple of weeks now. This is why. This game, this matchup is why. Because the Niners were always likely to play the 1-seed Packers if they won last week. This matchup and liking the Niners here is why I love the price on the Niners futures. I agree. George Kittle, I think, is going to have a big game. Packers are 28th against tight ends in DVOA. So Kittle, you can get 70 yards for him at +240, 100 yards at +580. He's had 70 yards or more 6 out of his 14 healthy games this year. So that's almost 50-50. You're getting good odds there. I agree. I think Kittle could have a big game. Kittle out there, Trent Williams, Juszczyk, Elijah Mitchell on the one-cut runs, Deebo Samuel in motion. This is just exactly, if you have to go on the road against a team with a great offense, what do you want? You want a team to power run in the cold weather, control the clock, and keep the MVP on the sideline. And that's exactly what the Niners are built to do. I had the stat in the last game. The Packers defense on first down, 24th in DVOA. Guess who leads the league in first down offense? It's the 49ers. That's what they do. They run the ball. They set the team up to have a successful situation on a 2nd and 2, a 2nd and 4. That's how you protect Jimmy Garoppolo. Guess what? Kyle Shanahan is going to do everything he can to protect Jimmy Garoppolo. He is going to run. We know, we've seen playoff games that he's just going to do all he can to give Jimmy the fewest throws that he has to make. And I think that's good here because it's going to just force them to run the ball even more. I like the matchup all throughout. You mentioned Nick Bosa. He did practice Wednesday, limited practice. that's good news. If you're concussion, you get to practice at all. That means you're probably trending toward playing. Zadarius Smith might not play, it's looking like, for the Packers. So that's another injury news that's kind of going our direction. I just think this is the matchup you want for the Niners. And you mentioned some of the other games that reminded you of. How about all the times that the Packers play the Niners? Like for the last 2 or 3 years, every time it's the Niners yet again. Oh no, you're playing the Niners in a big game against the Packers. And the Niners just kind of, they don't always win, but they've had their number. They've performed well against this team. And the Packers defense just hasn't really measured up for them.
Yeah, really, it truly hasn't. And I think we're both on the same page. We've been saying it. I think we've been saying this since the regular season, that this was the matchup that we like. It's ideal. We got the number. We got a better number than we anticipated. So I think this is perfect. So I'm really excited.
That's the only bummer for me is I gave this one out on the hot read, trying to grab it ahead of time. And then the number actually, I should have known too. And
I told you to wait. You didn't listen to me.
You did. I did. I bet, but I knew it. I want to add more later. So I'm ready to add more. I think with the way the injury news is trending, and yeah, you did tell me to wait. The number's a little higher now. It looks like it's starting to go back the other way. So I think this is about the right time. Hopefully, by the time you listen to this, you can still get that. I do like too, if the Packers go well here, and if they have a nice game, even if they don't, Devontae Adams, I think is going to have a big game. Not really outlandish saying that, but the Niners are second to last in DVOA against wide receiver ones. Devontae was over 100 yards, 5 of his last 6 before the Detroit game. So you can get that for plus money. I like that one. But I think the Niners defense can hold its own here. 49ers defense, the last 8 games of the season, was 4th in DVOA. So we know that early in the year, they had a bunch of injuries in the secondary, and they weren't really getting healthy out there. This is a team that's peaking in the second half of the year and heading into the playoffs. So I like that. The Niners are also second in passing offense DVOA the last 8 weeks. So when they do pass, they have been very good at it. They're picking their spots well. So one more thing, back to the stat you said, back to those 1 seeds. Remember, 1 seeds in the divisional round, 13, 23, and 1 against the spread. 1 seeds in the divisional round as favorites of 0 to 10 points. That's the Packers here. 8, 22, and 1 against the spread. Only 27% cover rate. So I think the Niners have a great chance to cover here. I think the Niners are going to win. And I've got more to say about the Niners when we get back to our look ahead too. So Niners to cover, Niners to win. You're playing the money line too, right?
Yeah, I'm definitely playing the money line. I'm all over it. I'm probably not going to be as big of a bet as the bet I made last week against the Cowboys, but I'm definitely betting this game. You always got to be a little bit worried about Aaron Rodgers at home, but I like the 49ers in this matchup.
Yeah, certainly Rodgers at home in Green Bay, all the trends. If you just want to just blindly bet Rodgers in Green Bay, that's like the most sharp square thing that you can do is just back Rodgers in Green Bay. So, there's a version of the game where Rodgers just goes out and does Rodgers things, and we both show up Sunday night and are like, what were we thinking? But there's a reason that the MVP hasn't won a Super Bowl anytime this century. It's too much on one guy. The Niners are the better team, I think, and can win this one.